Well, Jake Paul just beat up Mike Tyson, and I don't even know what to say about this fight. It was an absolute debauchery, embarrassing, embarrassing to the sport of boxing, embarrassing for Mike Tyson, embarrassing for Jake Paul, embarrassing for the whole world. And I don't know why. I actually sat down and watched 16 minutes of elder abuse live streamed on Netflix yesterday, but I did. Actually, in fact, I didn't even watch it on Netflix because Netflix couldn't handle the live stream and it was buffering for basically the whole world. I think Netflix Canada was particularly bad, so I just ended up watching the whole thing on X. But I don't know why I watched. I guess it's like a car accident. You just can't look away while it's happening. It happened right after the greatest women's fight I've ever seen in my life. I was cheering for Katie Taylor. I thought Amanda won, but obviously I'm not mad if I was cheering for Katie. Amazing fight. I could talk about that fight all day, but I'm making this video to talk about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, even though I shouldn't be. I don't want to give this fight any more light than it's already gotten because, like I said, this was the most embarrassing sporting event I've ever witnessed live in my entire life, and I wish I can't. There's no money I spent on it. I can't get any money back, but I wish I could get my time back, and I wish Mike Tyson could, run that back and just have not fought in that fight. I don't know what to say about the fight, really. Like, the first two rounds you could kind of give to Mike Tyson, I guess. They were close rounds, but after that it was just 6 minutes of Jake Paul beating on a 60-year-old man, and I don't know what that says about Jake Paul's performance. I really don't. On one hand, you're like, okay, you couldn't stop a 60-year-old man? Like, how bad are you at fighting? I know kids in my gym that are like half the age and half the size of Jake Paul, and it would take them half the time to finish a 60-year-old man that could barely move. Mike Tyson had no legs. He couldn't move at all. He's wearing a knee brace. The fact that Jake Paul couldn't finish him was insanely embarrassing for Jake Paul. At the same time, maybe he was going easy on Mike. Maybe he didn't want to knock out Mike in front of the whole world when he finally got in there with him and he saw what he was dealing with. Maybe he saved us all from crying. I don't know. Either way, lose-lose for Jake. As for Mike, he called out Logan Paul at the end of the fight. I think whoever's around Mike needs to sit him down and tell him, at this point in your life, it's better if you just sit on a podcast and take some mushrooms. Do not fight Logan Paul. He's bigger than Jake. I know he's much less of a boxer than Jake, but it's still stupid. It's just stupid. After the first two rounds, Mike could barely move around the ring. It was really sad to see. He was not even a shell of his former self. He was less than a husk. It was... I can't even sit here and pretend like I grew up watching Mike Tyson because I'm younger than Jake Paul, but I'm somebody who grew up listening to his podcast and watching the documentaries and watching his fights on YouTube. They're pretty short, so a lot of them on there, they only take a couple minutes to watch. But, Mike Tyson inspired me growing up. I'm still one of the people who look up to him as one of my heroes. And to watch him in the ring like that was just sad. There's nothing, no positive emotions came from that night. Like I said, the Katie Taylor-Amanda Serrano fight, best women's fight I've ever seen in my life. But the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson thing just killed everything. It killed all the momentum. I don't even... Look, what else is there to talk about with this fight? Like the fact that Mike Tyson was biting his glove, something he's done his whole career. Jake Paul landed some nice shots. I don't even know if they're nice. He's hitting a 60-year-old punching bag. Like, what... And then now you got to think, like, what's next for Jake? Like, does he fight an actual heavyweight? No. There's no way Jake Paul is going to fight an actual heavyweight. Even if you, like, let's just look at the top guys, because those are the names that you guys would probably know. Look at, like, Dubois. Look at AJ. Look at Fury. Look at Usyk. Look at Wilder. He's like 40 now. Look at these guys and tell me that Jake Paul would last more than one round with them. He would die to all of them. They're all way bigger than him, and they're all way better boxers than him. So if you take somebody Jake Paul's size or maybe a little bit smaller, like Bivol or Beterbiev, maybe that's a fair fight. Again, you got to choose somebody lower in the in the rankings in those weight classes, because Beterbiev should not be wasting his time on Jake Paul. He has an amazing career. He's one of the greatest boxers of all time. He should not be wasting his time on Jake Paul. So the boxers that should fight Jake Paul now to avenge Mike Tyson aren't going to do it because they have meaningful careers. So you got to go lower. You got to keep going lower until you find a guy that is small enough to give Jake a large advantage, but also a big enough name to maybe actually, have some people watch the fight, because the 2 fights that Jake Paul had previous to this Mike Tyson fight, nobody watched. Nobody even knew they happened. They were against 2 no-names. I can't even name the guys for you. So he's only going to take fights like Canelo or Conor McGregor or Floyd Mayweather, guys who are a lot smaller than him. And I think a couple of those guys might have a shot. I don't know if Floyd's quite big enough. And, he had that fight with Logan that was, I thought he was going to be able to stop Logan, and he didn't. So I don't know. Maybe Canelo's the answer. Canelo's still a lot smaller than Jake Paul. You'll see it when they eventually, I hope they eventually match up against each other. I hope somebody in the boxing world just throws $100 million at Canelo and says, you know what, you don't even need to train for this fight. You could walk into this fight cold. Just please take the $100 million, knock this guy out in front of the world for us. We all need to see Mike Tyson avenged now. We all need to see it. Mike Tyson needs to see it. We all want to see this kid, I don't want to say die because we're not in gladiator times, but we need to see him knocked out in the ring viciously, or brutalized. I wish Jake Paul would take a 12-round, 3-minute round fight, like a full heavyweight championship fight. But he won't, because he'll get brutalized. He'll get exposed for what he is. He's at best a mediocre boxer. At best, that's what he is. Like I said, I know kids in my gym that are half his size, half his age, who would tune him up if they got the chance. But you need this combination of a big name, and you need to be smaller than Jake, and maybe you can have more skill, but you better be past your prime. It's all a freaking gimmick, man. I don't know. The first thing I want is to never see Mike Tyson fight again. The second thing I want is to never see Jake Paul's face ever in my life again. I hope he gets a debilitating injury and we never see him in the boxing ring again. And if not, if he somehow fights again, the third thing that I want is for somebody legit to step up and avenge Mike Tyson and destroy this child. Destroy the problem child, wipe him from the face of the earth, make sure he never wants to box again. Man, I'm just upset. I don't even know what to say about this fight. I know you guys all kind of feel the same, so I'm just going to wrap it up there for today. I don't really have anything else to say other than that was an embarrassment. I was depressed and sad the whole time watching it, and it should have never happened, and, Jake Paul's a POS. That's all I have to say. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazz. Helps boost this channel in the algorithm. It means the world to me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.